So I'm going to go ahead and paste the HTML code into both teams. The indentation on this is crazy. If any of my moderators knows how to quickly just reduce the indentation on these so that everybody can see it, that would be awesome. But in the meantime, they have been provided the HTML information, and we're just going to give them a moment to check it out. The theme of this website is mobile app. So the website is all about a mobile application, landing page, and stuff like that. So make sure both teams understand that the theme of the website. Once they understand, we're going to actually start the game. Okay. So we have a huge document, just 2 panels for each side, and this is going to give you guys the ability to see as much code as possible. Alright guys, so we're going to do the countdown right now to start the game, so here we go. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're starting the game. There is a 5-second countdown before the actual game begins. As you guys know, 60 minutes started, and we're just gonna see what they do. I mean, they're gonna be a bit hesitant because they're exposed to HTML code that they have not seen before. They have not seen this code before. So it is up to them to actually figure out what they're going to target first. So we do see that they're doing their resets and stuff like that. That's the first thing you should start with. That's a great idea. If my moderators can figure out how to reduce the tab indentation on these, I wonder how we can do this. Tabs. Yeah, if you can reduce the tab indentation, that would be awesome, because it's really difficult to see the text on our side. Yeah, they can use the Font Awesome is imported, by the way, so they can use Font Awesome. Also, another thing to keep in mind is that we have that they are able to import their own fonts using imports in CSS. They are not allowed to touch the HTML document. They can only edit in CSS, so we're watching them just kind of style everything. Okay, so we do have media queries being born on the red team, and they're just using background red, I'm sure, just to test if it's working and everything like that. It's just an easy way to detect if something's working. What's up, Mr. Monkey Man? How you doing? Sounds like I'm teasing you, but that's actually your username. Alright, we're only 2 minutes in. Not much is going on at this very moment. We do have a font family area being added on the body tag, and I'm sure they're going to add an import for that later. We do have an import already on the blue team. They just added the Roboto font from Google Fonts, and we do see font family Roboto added on their HTML tag. Okay. So we do see some highlighting going on. They are allowed to copy stuff from the CSS and paste it into their into their CSS document. They are allowed to do that. That's totally fine. Okay, we're targeting the header tag. Okay, so we do see some very vivid color use over here on the red team, and guys, this is just one of those workflows. I'm sure he's not actually going to keep the background to be yellow. It's just a good way of being able to see where it is on the website, because as you guys know, divs are invisible, or tags are invisible, unless you set a defined height and stuff like that. So being able to see where they are using like colors, just general colors like yellow, blue, red, green, purple, whatever you want to use, it's a good way to see where everything is at. So let's refresh the website. Ignore the... Okay, here we go. So this is what it looks like. This is what they have going on here. So we have a giant image of this iPhone added over here. Look how big that is. They're gonna definitely have to style that using CSS to get everything in the appropriate size. And this is gonna show you. This is to demonstrate how you deal with images that are this giant. They aren't allowed to edit the HTML and add their own image, but they can do like little CSS tricks to you know, adjust or even add images themselves. We do have a broken image over here. Let's find out what that's all about. Replace that phone with a Bitcoin logo. Here, let's find out where this is. Pick one. Okay. That just needs to be replaced. That's not too big of a worry at the moment, because they're not really, they haven't really gone too far in their CSS for it to be an issue. Outline 1 pixel solid red, a handy outliner to see all the elements. That's a great advice right there. Outline 1 pixel solid red on everything. That way you can see where everything is. That's a good point, man. You guys can see there is a lot more CSS on the red team. Which is cool. Okay, so I'm gonna replace that image that didn't load correctly. Here it is. I'm just gonna replace it for them. Okay, and then let's do it over here as well. And then other than that, everything should be good to go. If one of my moderators can figure out a way to reduce the tab size indentation on these HTML documents so everybody can see it more clearly. For now, I'm just gonna kind of have it like over here-ish. All right, let's refresh the pages for both mobile apps. Okay, so you guys can see that like blue and red team both have the same idea as far as, you know, like using background images to see where everything's at. We don't have a reset on those margins, it seems, over here on the blue team. Yeah, we don't see a padding 0 or margin 0 on their HTML or body. And that's why we have a margin of spacing over here. You guys can see when I zoom in, it is there. Again, you guys can look at these websites for yourself, or even the code for yourself with the commands that we have. It's watch blue, watch red, or watch code. Okay, so the navigation bar is fixed, so they're probably gonna eventually have those that unordered list to be display inline block or even floated. I don't know. There's different ways to go about it. They could flexbox. It's up to them, but their chances are they're not going to have it like this. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. Okay. So we do have a defined height of 60 pixels on that header. Okay, over here it looks like we're gonna be adding a. We do have a play command, I believe. I'm pretty sure we did. Yeah, we do. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty awkward, Dirk. Alright, but anyways, it looked like for a second, well, I did see on the blue team they did have header position fixed as well. So, I mean, they might go about it the same way. What I personally like doing is having parent containers have a height of auto, and then add padding to top and bottom to actually have a very dynamic height. And that dynamic height is determined based on the content that's placed within the parent container. It's not in the command description. You are correct. Tabs are client side. Okay. I could have sworn it wasn't, because I saw in our last DevWars game we did have tabs being added to blue team but not to the red team, and that was adjusted by the blue team. So that's the only reason why I assumed it wasn't client side. But yeah, so we do have all these tabs here. I'm gonna see about okay, so can one of my moderators let me know, so I don't have to try to figure it out or Google it or anything, how to adjust the tab size on my end so that we can see that. Yeah, but I'm sure there's a way to just reduce it. I don't want to go in here and do it all manually. If there's not a way to do it to where you just decrease the overall tab size, then I don't want to bother with it. Have you ever thought about doing a DevWars playoff? Yes. If you're talking about tournaments and stuff like that, yes, we have. And we're going to implement stuff like that in the future. A lot of selectors for the header in here. Yeah, a lot of selectors on both teams. I like what red team is doing, even though there is not any, even though they're using raw CSS, they're not using a preprocessor, they are using a form of indentation to help them understand, you know, that this is nested inside of this header. And that is a great way of being able to organize your code so that it is readable. Readability is important, guys, especially if you want to work quicker and improve your workflow. This is a great idea from trying to improve. He's trying to improve, so this is the way to do it. Whereas over here on the blue team, you can see it's just a little bit more difficult to read the code over here, just because it's not indented and stuff like that. But it's not gonna replace the actual efficiency of the website by all means. It's just strictly to help them work faster and understand their code. So there is 46 minutes and 40 seconds left on the clock. I mean, still a lot of time, and that means there's a lot of time to see progress on the website. Let's see what they've accomplished so far. I'm going to refresh the website. Okay, here we go, guys. So we do have stuff working out here, which is awesome. So in the header we have the layouts. Okay, so there's most likely going to be 2 submenus inside of here. So it's up to them to utilize CSS to where on hover they activate these menus to become visible. But I like the way the fixed nav looks on red team. Okay, so they have, this looks nice as well. Let's see, if they were to make the background here, say black or something. Actually, let's not make it black. Let's make it like, let's do background yellow. Actually, background like green. There you go. You guys are able to see better on what their actual header container looks like. So they're going to have to structure this in such a way to where when you hover over, say submenu, these options show up. Sign up in home or standalone links. They can do whatever they want with these things. They still need to, I mean, they're working, it looks like from top to bottom, which makes sense. So they haven't got around to styling any of these stuff down here. That's going to have to come later. The whole point of this 1v1 is to pretty much style an HTML document that was given to you. And there are no objectives, so it's strictly based on how they perceive, you know, design and stuff like that. And in the end, you guys are going to be the ones to vote on who has the best design and who has, you know, the best responsive design. There's going to be different things. So far, those are the only 2 things we're going to be voting on. If there is a tie, then we're going to have a tiebreaker. There are no objectives in this game, just to try something a little bit different, to see, you know, to give them the creative freedom to have no limitations on what they can do. They're not, and objectives aren't necessarily for limitations. They're just more of a guideline. But we're just going to do away with it in this game. The theme of this website is mobile app, so they do have to stay true to that. I'm going to take off my hoodie for you guys. Hopefully that increases the follows. Not really. Alright. No V-neck today. You're right. No V-neck. That's an ongoing joke on my Syntax channel that where I wear V-necks for follows. All right. So yeah, and it looks like we are styling those list items inside of that banner ID. We haven't got around to doing that just yet on the red team. We do see some nth child selectors in the blue team as well. Let's see what they've done so far. Works on my channel. It does work. It does work. Okay. So this is interesting. So there is no background on the actual header tag, so that's why you don't see the background sticking with it. So that's why it's doing that. Whereas on the red team, you see how the yellow background and everything is following the text. Yeah. A lot of work needs to be done on this HTML document. What's up, Cora? How you doing, man? Glad you're able to join us. Okay, guys. So we're more than a quarter way in. So far, both teams have managed to generally style their header and everything. There's still work that needs to be done on the header, but most of the work that has been done was just pretty much on the header and everything within that header. But that is a huge chunk of what the website is going to be. I mean, the way CSS works is once you kind of get the general styles figured out, it's almost like a snowball from there. It's not going to take the same amount of time to, you know, set up everything as it will, you know, in the beginning of the game. This is the second game, yeah, so that means this is the last game. In the future, we are going to have, you know, 3 games, but so far we're just sticking with, you know, 2 games every single Tuesday and Saturday. That reminds me, if you guys are enjoying DevWars, we do have another DevWars on Saturday, same time, always, 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. So every Tuesday and Saturday, we're having DevWars. In this particular game, we are just doing a 1v1. It is a battle to the death, and it's CSS versus CSS. The way it works is we provide them HTML content, and they're supposed to just use CSS to select all the different tags that are in that document to style it, pretty much. So it's all about design in this game. All about design. Still work being done on the blue team. So we do have that. We are working on the sub-menus over here. I don't think we have done that on the, yeah, so on the blue team, they haven't done that yet. So it doesn't necessarily mean blue team is ahead just because they are working on their other selectors. It just means that they haven't really went into detail with it. So over here on red team, it looks like they're taking their time with the header, making sure everything looks good in there. Okay, so over here, so I'm going to explain what this means here. So inside of the header, we have a UL tag, but when you hover over a list item, it's gonna make this UL tag visible, right? So by default, this UL tag is invisible with display none, but when the moment you hover over it, it becomes visible. So that should be working. Let's see. Okay, check this out. So when you hover over this layout, it brings up this menu. Beautiful work. And then, of course, they're gonna have to, they don't have to actually, but this is probably something they want to have show when you hover over. It's like a sub-menu within a menu. Will there be DevWars with other languages like Python? I don't know about specifically Python, but we will be streaming definitely DevWars. It's not just gonna be HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. But I mean, there's not really too much known about that yet. All we know is that we are planning to planning to expand even into game development. So we might do stuff like that, or even just, you know, development that's strictly JavaScript based. You know, there's a lot of cool ideas we could take DevWars to. GMT is Mountain Dew Standard Time. That's correct. That is correct. Yes. So excellent work on the red team. I love how they are indenting. This really, really helps to understand what's going on. Yep. We are also going to add preprocessors like SAS and less to DevWars 2, because we do not have any problems with those preprocessors being used in the game. In fact, we actually encourage it, because this game's, you know, I mean, there's only 60 minutes left on the clock. Obviously, it's all about time. You want to do whatever you can to code quickly, and all preprocessors do is just make you work faster. So it's pretty much CSS still. It's still CSS, just with a bunch of other features. It's like CSS 10. It's like CSS on steroids, you know? It's not going to give you essentially like an advantage other than, you work faster. Okay, let's refresh and see what they've completed thus far. Okay, so we are going with a white background on this header. It looks like on the red team. Wow. Look what they've done on the blue team. I'm sure that's not exactly what they want it to look like, but that is a very interesting way to go about doing it, for sure. They already have like transitions and stuff like that. Okay, check this out, guys. So we have, let's see what they're doing here to make the button look the way it does. Okay, so they have a height specified, and then they have padding top. Okay, guys, I'm gonna explain to you guys what I believe is the best way to do this. I mean, so let's get rid of the padding. Okay, first of all, let's get rid of the padding. Okay. And on the li tag, let's not specify the height. Let's just set it to auto. Okay. So you see how it looks like that now? Now all you have to do is, I mean, you could go about it two different ways. You could set the line height to like, I don't know, 40 pixels, and that'll work. Or what I like to do is do this, because it's generally you're gonna want padding anyways. Here, let's set the height width to auto as well, auto. So it looks like that. You want it to look like this in order for this to work. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. Okay, so you guys can see what I'm working on. I'm working on these buttons. So what we do is we add padding. Okay, we're gonna add padding top and bottom of like, let's just say 10 pixels. Okay, and then we're gonna add 5 pixels left and right. And that's gonna add. So you guys can see. Now we could even add more left and right. Actually, it would make more sense to add like 15 left and right. There you go. So that looks better. You could have 20. You can do whatever you want. But as you guys can see, like now it's like a very simple way of creating a button. So that's the way I do it. Okay, it looks like they did go about doing it some way. Let's see what they did. Okay, so they're still doing it the way they have it. So, you know, by specifying, see how they have it. No, it looks like they have padding right here. Okay, they're using rem, padding rem. That's a great way to do it. I think the reason why they had it, why Danny did it the way he did at first was probably just to make sure oh, check this out, guys. This definitely looks a lot better. Look how it opens like that. Okay. A lot of work being done on that header over here. It looks very clean. It looks fresh. I gotta say, it looks fresh. I encourage you guys to, you know, look at these websites for yourself in your own browser. All you have to do, we have commands. All the commands are listed right below the stream, and you guys are going to be able to see, you know, all commands start with the exclamation point in front of it. So it'll be exclamation point, for example, watch blue, and it'll have that will have our MooBot output a link for you guys for you to click on, and that's going to give you guys the link to this browser that you guys are looking at right here, and you guys can see it in your own browser. You can do the same for red. And then if you want to take it a step further and see the code for yourself, you can type watch code, and you guys can see this. All this code that was written by a user named Stupid Codeface. He did a fantastic job on that. It looks like we are doing indentation on the blue team, which is cool. So same idea that red team had originally. That's going to help with code readability. For those of you guys who don't recognize what this is hue, saturation, and level. I believe it's level. I'm pretty sure it's level. And you can use percentages to, oh, lightness. Okay, lightness, thank you. You can set the level of the lightness. So no, I wasn't even right. But yeah, I don't use that at all, but I just think it's interesting to see that for the first time in DevWars. hue, saturation, and lightness. Those are all the different. In design, lightness is also referred to as value. So it's like setting the value in a way. There's different. It's synonymous with value in design. So I guess I can elaborate on that more. So the hue would be like, you know, what point of the color spectrum you're looking on, and then the saturation will be how vivid the color is. And then lightness is like the value, so how dark it is. How dark or light it is. Okay, let's go back over to the website, see what they've got accomplished. Wow. I don't know, I'm a big fan of the way Red Team looks. It just looks very professional. And then we do have like a icon that's not loaded over here on the layouts, as you can see. Now, there is an easy way of adding icons before these things, and that's a way to do that is with before and after pseudos. So if they wanted to, they can totally add like a icon of a house before this home link, or even before the sign up, they can add a, like, I don't know, some sort of sign up icon or something. They could do that. And it looks like they have resized this phone. Okay, over here, we have not got around to doing that just yet. I'm sure eventually they're going to want it so that you can't scroll left and right. I'm just imagining that's the way they want to handle it. Let's find out why we are getting a scroll left and right. I wonder, if we just did 100%, would that fix this issue? No. It's probably because of the content that's in here. Yeah, pretty much it's probably going to have to be set with percentages and overflow hidden in order to make sure the HTML of that icon is wrong. Okay. Let's see what you are talking about. Nav and the layouts. Let's find it. Layouts. Okay. Icon FA. Okay, you're right. FA, just like that. Let me save that. And then. Yeah, they do. They could do it that way too. They could be smart and try to add the font family to icon. But just, I could easily just add FA in here just to make their lives just that much easier. Okay. So, in fact, I hope they haven't already targeted the icon class. We'll just leave it. I was going to delete it, but we'll just leave it. Let's see what they're working on the red team. I see his selector over here. Oh, now it's over here. Okay, border top 666. I don't know how I feel about that color. They could have did something else, but no, they want it to be 666, so okay. I don't know how he feels comfortable about doing that, but I guess he has no worries. He does not care. And then, what are we working on over here on the blue team? I'm trying to look for his selector. Okay, I don't see. Okay, here we go. So he's working on the header right now. Now he's working on the banner, just changing some colors around, just some adjustments. Okay, let's refresh the page and see what they have completed so far. Huh? I'm not sure. I was bigger fan of this being up here at the top right. but it's not up to me. I like how they already have their call to action buttons and everything on here. And then of course he has a transition here, which is pretty cool. I'm sure he's going to change the way this looks later. He still needs to make it so when you hover over layouts, it expands on these menus, but we haven't got around to doing that just yet. He has made it so that we can't scroll left and right anymore. We saw that earlier where you were able to scroll left. Never mind, he still has that issue. On this, we still definitely have this issue. As you can see, I'm just scrolling by a lot. But we saw that red team's just kind of taking its time with a header, one step at a time. You know. So let's go back into the code. Let's see what they have. No, the goal of the website was to just create a mobile app. It's about a mobile app website. They can do whatever they want though. If they want to go mobile first, that's fine. Okay. I'm just gonna give them a friendly. Okay, so actually I don't need to do this. Okay, I guess I do need to do it because I don't see any of my moderators in red team. Hey, red team. Hey, red team. I'm hearing feedback. Okay, no, not anymore. Okay, so I just want to give you guys a friendly reminder that we are going to be voting based on media queries. So, you know, for responsive design. So make sure you have media queries and your site is responsive. Don't forget to do that. There's 24 minutes left on the clock. So good luck.
Oh, cool.
Okay, guys, 24 minutes left on the clock. Not exactly. I mean, there's 24 minutes and 30 seconds left on the clock, but it was close. So I just reminded them that we are using that, you know, you guys are going to be voting on responsive design. Fluid design has to do with responsive too. So they can kind of prep their code to be ready for responsive design, if that makes sense. Responsive design is like a collection of different things. Like you have fluid design and then you need your media queries, you know, and then you need to make those adjustments inside of here as to how the website should look based on certain screen widths. Oh dang, look at this, guys. He's using Arial over here on the red team and he's straight up saying, I don't want font awesome. Oh dang. Okay, so over here we see a comment over here. So we have a comment for need to set font size to 0 for removing a white space. And the reason why he needs to do that is because he's using display inline block as his way of aligning everything. Are we using the same over here in the header? Over here, yes, we're using display inline block over here as well, but it all depends. If he wants everything, if he doesn't mind the white space over here, then he's probably not going to use the font size 0 on the parent container. But if he does mind, then font size 0 is definitely something he's going to have to declare to get rid of that white space. Let's refresh and see what they have so far. You guys can see. You guys can see just how powerful CSS is. I mean, think about it. They both have the same HTML code, right? And just with one language, CSS, they are able to make two different looking websites. I mean, it's unbelievable how much power you have with CSS. Are you able to scroll left and right still? Yes. Okay, it looks like he got rid of that hover effect. I don't know. Okay, never mind. It's back here. It was just probably broken when I refreshed the page. What's up, Hip Lunatic? How you doing, man? Epidence, it looks like you just kind of showed up. This is the last game we are streaming for today. I think this menu would look better definitely if all of these list items were the same width. but I'm sure they're going to get around to doing that later. Let's see what red team is working on. I mean, they're kind of taking their time here. Okay. So he kind of looks like he last left off on this H2 tag selector. You know, just kind of left with font size there. I don't see his selector. Okay, here it is. He's working on media queries right now. That's pretty cool. What about blue team? We see media queries in here now. I find it interesting how he has this media query all the way up here. So there's different ways to go about it, I guess. You can have your media queries right under the particular you know, selector in question. So in this case, he has his media queries set for specifically only header the ID. I'm not sure if he's gonna move it, but you see over here, we're going about it differently on the red team. They have their media query to where you have everything that you want different. You only change what you want different in this screen width. They might move this later. I'm not sure if they're gonna keep it there. Okay, so they're both kind of working on media queries right now. Let's see where the selector is over here for the... Okay, so yeah, they're both working on media queries. Let's see, guys. Let's see what it looks like when we reduce the screen size so far. So far the site is just fluid. Okay, what about when we zoom out? Oh, I see. I understand. Okay. So we saw that previous design where the menu is... You guys can't see because the overlay is covering it. That's why I recommend you guys see it in your own browser, because there's some things you guys can't see because of the overlay. But yeah, so they have a different design. We're kind of in the style for... We're kind of in this style. Actually, we might be in this style. I'm not sure. But anyways, yeah, this is a completely different layout for the view we're in right now. What about over here? Wow. Okay, so we kind of have like a mobile view, and then when we zoom out, okay, never mind. We're still working on that. A lot of work needs to be done on this blue team, it seems. These buttons are out of whack now. Let's find out what's going on. It's something with this list item. I'm not seeing it right off the bat, but they do need to fix that. Yeah, red team still has a huge iPhone. They're kind of taking their time, aren't they? Red team is just taking their time, working on making sure everything looks good. I mean, if you look here, though blue team is kind of working all over the place, red team has spent a lot of time on this header, and it looks like it's paid off because, you know, everything's working smoothly, whereas over here, we still need to do those hover effects on the header. So, I mean, since blue team's all over the place, they haven't gotten around to doing that yet. I like the look of these buttons. They look nice this way. So you can see, like, they're making last-minute decisions. Guys, there is still a lot of work that needs to be done, and there's 17 minutes left on the clock. So actually at this point they need to start picking it up because we're about 3/4 of the way into the game, and you know, 15 minutes, 17 minutes is not enough to... It's not really a lot of time here. I mean, with the amount of work they completed, you know, it's just, you can tell that that's not enough time for any of these guys. So let's look back over here at the code. What is blue team working on? I see their selector up here. What about the red team? selectors over here. So we're just going to kind of watch and see what happens. I see blue team is kind of in their HTML document. Okay, we do see them commenting out this font family on this FA class inside of the header. Yeah, good thing you decided to come anyways, Quick Pixel, and watch the game. Glad you are. 16 minutes left on the clock. Okay. So we're using a before pseudo class on the FA angled down class. Okay. This is interesting. Why do we have... Okay. I see. These are different selectors. I'm so used to SCSS. You can, like, after using SCSS for a while or any type of processor, you would realize, like, you really see how redundant CSS is. It's just like things you don't have to say. Like, look how many times we have to repeat header, 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 and with CSS or SCSS, you eliminate all that redundancy, and you just have less code, which means, you know, more, which increases your readability and organization. Okay, what about over here on the blue team? What is he working on? You were on the Syntax channel, you fool. Okay guys, right now, if you're watching this, look up at your URL. If it says twitch.tv/Syntax, you're on the wrong channel. Even though you can watch DevWars on that channel, you're still on the wrong channel. Head on over to twitch.tv/DevWars. That's the channel we are on right now. That's the channel where everybody's talking and stuff like that. You definitely want to be on DevWars. And then make sure you follow DevWars as well, because this is where you guys are going to get notifications for all DevWars related streams. We're trying to isolate the content that I put on my channel, which is just casual web design, where I'm designing websites for, you know, companies that I'm working for. And also, you know, I play games on my channel as well. Yeah, it's cool that Twitch has an email notification every time we go live. It really helps, I'm sure, with you guys getting that memo. 13 minutes left on the clock. Okay, so we're styling all of these. We're styling header UL, header LI, header anchor tag, and we're just giving all that a display block format. Looks like we are working on some more stuff over here. Let's refresh the page and see what is different. Okay. Okay, you can't scroll. Oh wait, yeah. Whoa. Oh, okay. You can't scroll left and right on this website on red, which is awesome. On blue team, you still can scroll left and right. That's not cool. I'm sure they're going to want to fix that later. But on red team, they have that resolved. There is no scrolling left and right on this page. So awesome job there. But now they need to fix this. Yeah, SCSS is the same thing. SCSS is Sass, but it's just a different syntax. Yeah, SCSS is more closer to the way CSS looks and everything like that, whereas Sass, you know, you get rid of things like brackets and semicolons, and nesting is actually something that the preprocessor looks at, like your tab indentation, and actually considers that part of the code, whereas SCSS, you can add as many tabs or spaces as you want. It will not look at that. I went with SCSS because I am more comfortable. I have been using CSS for a long time, and you know, I got so used to writing in CSS that I was like, hey, if I go to SCSS, I should be able to work with SCSS very quickly, just because I don't have to, you know, have any sort of learning curve to get used to. So we have people. Yeah, so the cool thing about SCSS is all you need to do is copy your CSS and throw it into your SCSS, and it works. It's readable right away. Whereas if you copy your CSS into your SAS document, it's not going to read it because it's in a completely different syntax, and you have to make all those adjustments. Okay, more stuff going on here. Let's find out. Guys, 10 minutes left on the clock. It's really not a lot of time, guys. Like, they're gonna need to pick it up. This game's all about design. You know, if they want to pick it up, they need to just add as many styles as they possibly can. I mean, stuff like this, red team needs to fix. They need to just, it's as simple as just targeting this image and saying, okay, I want this image to be like 50% width, and then I want it to be, you know, centered or something. I don't know. It's however they want it to be. Okay, so it's not centering, and so I don't really know what kind of styles they have in here, but if they wanted it centered, or they could have it even smaller. I don't know, maybe they want it like this small. They can do whatever they want. But this is interesting. I haven't seen text style like this in a while. But yeah, guys, I mean, not a lot of time, seriously. I would really like to see them fix these buttons. I mean, they could do little things like making a hover effect on these buttons. So far, we don't see any of that. Like, when you hover over this, you don't see any sort of color variation when you're hovering over things. The closest thing we've seen to an animation is, or transition of some sort, is this. And he finally has this working. We don't have the sub menu opening when you hover over it. I would like to see these list items have a defined width. So maybe, okay, hang on. Let me drag this up here. Actually, it won't go high enough, but believe, okay, here we go. So this li tag, maybe they could do something like with 500 pixels. Okay, do we have an overflow? I don't know how their code works right here, but pretty much, I mean, I can see the width over here. Oh, okay, it's in this anchor tag. So we can do like width 200 pixels. There we go. But you know, you want to style it to where it's just the menu. I mean, they could do whatever they want, but like something that might look nice is text align center, and then have it like that. You could even have it like simply to where when you're hovering over this, you get okay, I don't see the hover. Oh, here it is. Okay, so you could simply like say background to be like 333. No. Maybe lighter. So let's do like 555. It's difficult to do it in here, but pretty much what I was doing, it's being overridden by this background. Pretty much when you hover over it, it'll change the color to be lighter, but it's up to them. Yeah, I mean, personally, what I would like to see is all three of these navigation bars, navigation links to be, to occupy a third of the, so 33%, you know, so that way these are evenly distributed from left and right, instead of kind of having all of these, you know, all this space over here, all this empty space. Okay, guys, 6 minutes left on the clock. Check this out. This looks very nice. I like this. What have we done down here? I haven't done anything here. Okay, let's go back to the code, see what they're working on. Okay, so red is working on their input, so they're saying, you know, they want a certain size on there, they want the width to be 100%, they want the max width to be 400 pixels, they have line height in there and everything. Brilliant, brilliant. Okay, what about over here on the blue team? I saw their selector in here. I don't see it anymore. It kind of, oh, they're in the HTML document now. They're able to go into the HTML document and copy whatever they want and paste it into their CSS file. For example, maybe they need to copy a class name, where they can do that. They just can't make edits or revisions to the actual HTML document itself. Okay, we're getting padding top of 0 on this HT tag. Okay, I'm just gonna pop into the chat and just let them know. Actually, I noticed PHP Joe is inside of the red team chat. So PHP Joe, if you don't mind, just letting them know, just let them know that there's 4 minutes and 40 seconds left on the clock. They don't have very much time. So just make sure they know that they need to be wrapping it up, whatever codes they need to make. Because guys, 4 minutes is not enough time to do really very much. I mean, so they're going to have to take that time to make any minute changes, unless they're just really good at what they do. Check this out. We finally have some hover variations. And I wonder why we're getting this spacing on this. It's because of this. They simply get rid of this. Maybe if we just do display none, let's see what happens. Oh, no, we don't want that. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out why they have all this extra height. I don't see anything in here that's really adding more. I mean, there's this padding, but yeah, if they could fix this, that would be really awesome. Let me do height auto. Yeah, I don't know. Interesting. Very interesting. Well, hopefully they can fix it. You can still scroll left and right on blue team. I wonder if they're ever going to fix that, or if they even notice it. Let's see what the different view is when you zoom out a little bit. By a little bit, I mean a lot, I guess. Look at this, guys. This kind of drops down like this when you're zoomed out all the way. That's probably not how he wants it to look. What about on the red team? Let's refresh here. Okay. I love the way this looks. I like this idea of having these phones placed like that. That's brilliant. Okay, so 2 minutes left on the clock. PHP Joe, let them know 2 minutes is left on the clock. And at this point in time, guys, I'm actually not going to refresh the website anymore, because I want it to be a surprise for the end. Because a lot of things can change in those 2 minutes, even though it's not enough time. They could do something that'll drastically change the look of it. You can see both teams are just hammering away in their CSS, doing whatever they can with the time they have. Who has more CSS? It looks like they're pretty even as far as lines of CSS go. But most of the CSS content inside a blue team is just open selectors with no properties inside of it, whereas on the red team, any selector that exists has some sort of property or value in there. So I'm assuming, so just off of that, red team has more CSS than blue team. So we're working on these li tags inside of the icon class over here on the red team. 1 minute left on the clock, guys. 1 minute. We're down to the seconds. So I'm going to start counting down here very, very closely, very soon. Yeah, we have all these empty tags. The only media query I see over here on the blue team is just for their header. Oh, and this is an interesting way of doing media queries. Generally, I see it the way we have it down here. The way trying to improve is doing it on the red team. You know, he has his media query and it's taking care of, you know, all the different changes he wants to make depending on the screen width. Whereas on the blue team, okay guys, we're down to seconds. I'm gonna count down. So 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. It's over, guys. That was a great game. You guys watched them code in CSS for 60 minutes now, and they both did a fantastic job. I'm gonna give them a moment to come back to the chat. And PHP Joe has shut down the documents by now, I'm sure. So it is over, guys. Let's check out what they have. So I'm gonna refresh the site on both sides. Okay, so this is what they have. I don't notice anything different from what I last had it at, but I'm sure there is as we scroll down. Okay. So guys, there were no objectives, so we're just gonna go based off design here. Let's start with the blue team. Let's see what they got here. So we have this header. Before we continue, I recommend you guys look at these websites in your own browser. So it's watch blue and watch red. Those are the commands. Okay, so we're starting with blue team on the left side right here, this whole side right here. So they have this header, okay? You can check it out. When you hover over it, it kind of expands in this fashion. And then when you hover over layouts, it expands on that. And when you hover over submenu, it expands on that. So that's the way this works. That's the way their header looks. Okay. And as we scroll down, we see text. Okay, they did fix this somewhat, the buttons. But anyways, they have, and when you hover over it, you get yellow colors. Beautiful. They have this kind of in the center. And then down here, they have these separated in 4 different sections in 2 columns. They have a giant iPhone, a giant Galaxy phone. And down here, it just kind of looks pretty plain. So I'm assuming he hasn't got around to working on that. And then I should point out that the website does scroll a little bit left and right. And I'm sure he didn't want it to be that way. Okay, now so we're not looking at responsive design or anything like that. We're just basing on how it looks. Now, red team, they do have a pretty nice looking header. When you hover over these, you get like a different shade of color. Okay. And this is the way their navigation bar works. Their submenu doesn't expand when you hover over submenu. It just kind of expands everything. As you scroll down, you can see they have this kind of styled in such a fashion where the text is to the left. I really liked what he did here. They have the phones placed in such a way to where the text is to the left. That looks very good. I would have loved to see you know, these be buttons and stuff like that. It would have made it look very, very nice, but 60 minutes was not a lot of time for them to do very much. And then look at the work they've done down here in the footer. It looks good. Does look good. And their website does not scroll left and right. Okay, guys, so we're going to be voting now on design. So I'm going to throw up the poll. We're going to go for 2 minutes. Which team has the best design? All you have to do is type blue or red in the chat, and your vote will be accounted for. We're just basing it off of looks. Don't worry about responsive design or anything like that right now. Just which team looks better, pretty much. So I'm going to give you guys 2 minutes. I just started the timer. Well, actually, I'm going to wait for the first vote to come in, and then I'm going to start the timer. Okay, first vote has came in. So we're going to go 2 minutes from now. I'll be right back, guys. So place your votes. It's blue or red. Okay. So we're going to vote for another minute and 10 seconds. A minute and 10 seconds. Now a minute and 5 seconds. Place your votes, guys. It's blue or red. Which team has the best design? You guys are able to see this in your own browser with the commands under the stream. So just 25 seconds left on the clock. In order to vote, all you have to do is type blue or red, and then your vote will appear right away on the screen. This shows me that the stream is 18 seconds behind my clock. Yeah, we do have, with everybody, there is going to be a stream delay. Okay, guys, it's over. Red team gets 2 points for the best design. Now we're going to be voting on best responsive design. Okay, so before we throw up the poll, I'm going to demonstrate. Okay, so let's start with the blue team. Okay, this music's kind of weird. That was weird music. Okay, let's start with the blue team. Let's resize and see how it adjusts. So it's very fluid. You can see like all the content stays inside of the window. Bit of a glitch. Okay. Phone images adjust based on the window size and everything like that. Over here, you guys can see it's cut off, but it's actually not cut off. It's just the overlay covering it up. Okay. And so everything fits in the window. That's good. What happens when we zoom out? When we zoom out, I'm like 25% zoomed out. Images are huge. This is kind of what it looks like. What happens when we zoom in? So it's kind of the way it handles all that. We're not doing actual, emulators for mobile for all the different resolutions and stuff like that. We're just kind of doing it this way. Now, for the red team, what happens when you resize this? So the images don't actually really... The text kind of goes away when you go here. It just kind of disappears. And the image doesn't resize. Over here, everything else resizes perfectly fine, except for this down here. This, I mean, all the content is in here, but it's not centered. And then let's go back to the way it was, and let's zoom out. So we do have a completely different layout with a header and stuff like that when you zoom out. It looks good. When you zoom out even more, it's kind of what it looks like at 25% zoom. And then when we zoom in, this is what it looks like. So yeah, which team has the best responsive design? What do you guys think? I'm gonna throw up the poll right now, and we're gonna vote for 2 minutes. So which team has the best responsive design? That includes fluidness and stuff like that. And if you guys want to, I do recommend you guys look at these websites for yourself in your own browsers. That way you guys get a better understanding about the way everything works and stuff like that. So all you have to do is vote blue or red in the chat. Just type blue or red, and your vote will appear at the top. 2 votes coming in on blue. So we're just going to be voting for 1 minute and 30 more seconds. Eight votes on blue, 1 vote on red. We need more votes, guys. We need more votes. Another vote on red. Okay, guys, we're only going to be voting for 1 minute and 15 seconds. More. Keep the votes coming. All you have to do is type blue or red in the chat, and your vote will appear on the screen. It looks like we are getting close. So guys, just we're going to be voting for just 15 more seconds. 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and it's over. That was a very close game right there. So blue team did win. It looks like we are at another tie. Today we've just been having ties all day. So, okay. It's time for a tiebreaker, guys. We're going to have a tiebreaker. Okay. So congratulations to both teams for making it this far. We're going to vote on who has the best code now. We're going to actually look on the code. Let's start with blue team. Okay? So blue team, you guys are going to be looking at organization. You guys are going to be looking at syntax. You guys are going to be looking at comments, anything. Everything you guys are going to be looking at, and to determine whether or not to determine who has the best code. Pretty much, that's what we're doing here. So let's start over here with blue team. Okay, so they have HTML and body, standard stuff. Everything's kind of organized in a way where, see, like, but the thing is, I would have like had this at the very top. That makes more sense. So they're targeting each of these H1 tags individually. They have some empty selectors. They're utilizing VW they have their media queries kind of in the middle of their CSS to just target. I noticed on blue team they have their media queries wherever they have their difference. So in this case, they're changing the media query for this class right here. We have header, everything's nested, you know, so that you can, for readability. You have the media queries for your header in here. You have, you know, banner, and then we have more empty selectors down here. Okay, so that is blue team, and they also have 191 lines of code. Now let's go over to the red team. Okay, they have their all selector at the top, their HTML, their body, everything's kind of in order. They have they're nesting everything. We see more than one indentation on the red team because they have been nesting a bit further, and they did it. You can see like there's an extra indentation here because they're inside of their nav now. And now they have their banner in here. They have some header selectors down here instead of up here. They have their main, their rows, all this stuff, their call to action, their nesting, everything. They have and then the difference here is they have their media query at the very bottom with everything they want different according to the min screen width of 1024. And then of course they have more lines of CSS code on red team. Okay guys, I'm gonna throw up the poll right now. You guys are gonna vote on who has the best code. So place your votes. I'm gonna set the timer for 2 minutes. Wonderful. Okay, so it looks like we have a lot of votes coming in for red, not so much for blue. We're going to be voting for, like, let's see here, 1 minute and 20 seconds left. 1 minute and 20 seconds left on the clock over here, guys. Not anymore. Okay, just a minute left now. All you have to do is type blue or red in the chat, and your vote will be accounted for right away. 22 seconds left on the clock. 20 seconds. Let's get your votes in the chat. All you have to do is type blue or red. Who has the best code? We went over the code together. If you guys want to see the code for yourself, you actually don't really have that much time because we're at 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Okay, guys, it's over. So it looks like red is gonna take the victory here. Red is gonna take the victory. So congratulations, red team. That was a tiebreaker right there. So we're gonna have, you guys know the drill. We're gonna have a party on the red side now. So congratulations, red team. High five. High five. Okay, so it's not really a team per se. Well, you can still have a team with just one person. You could be alone on your team. That's cool. But yeah, congratulations, trying to improve.